I have a confession. I love to talk. I talk to my friends, I talk on text, I talk to you, I talk to myself. This all came crashing down when someone gave me a big, old, fat truth bomb. This piece of information changed the way I interact. Find out what happened coming up next. So one day, I was sitting talking to a friend, sharing stories, catching up on the usual. At one point, she stopped me and said, "Can I tell you something? Sometimes you're an interrupter." Oh, dagger to the heart. I was so upset when she said this because basically I felt like she said I was talking too much. But a part of me also knew she was right, and I also knew why. I am terrified of awkward silences. I hate that long pause when no one knows what to say. Those awkward moments right after someone is done talking and the conversation just sort of hangs there for all of us to scrutinize. It kills me. So to prevent these awkward silences, I had begun to jump in as soon as someone was done speaking, which frequently happened before they were actually done. The bad side effect of this was that I also had to think about what I was going to say while the other person was talking, making me a terrible listener. Instead of taking in what they were saying, all I was thinking about was, what should I say next? This sucks. It sucks for me, it sucks for them, and it made me sucky at conversation. Enter the vow of silence. Bum, bum, bum. I decided I couldn't just cut down my talking. I would have to go cold turkey. I decided I was going to take a vow of silence for as long as it took for the silence not to terrify me. I wanted to be silent to learn how to become a better listener. I also wanted to do this for real, so I had a few rules. 1, no talking, no writing. I knew that if I could write my thoughts, I would just spend my time thinking about what to write. Again, not really listening. 2, no digital writing. I also couldn't text, email, or post on social media. I could only listen. 3, I couldn't hide. An easy way to do a vow of silence would be to sequester myself in my house for a week and not see anyone. But that wouldn't be very good practice. No, I had to attend all of my normal meetings, happy hours, and networking events, and just listen. My number one goal was to be supportive and truly and deeply listen to the people around me. Since I run a human behavior research lab, I figured this was also the perfect experiment. What would it be like to be silent for a few days? The first time I did this in 2014, I was silent for a week. It was the hardest week of my life. I learned that when you don't speak, people have the tendency to yell at you as if you also can't hear. I also found that people use animated hand gestures and try to enunciate their words to help you in your understanding of them. I constantly wanted to scream, "I'm silent, not deaf." But of course, I couldn't. I also learned that when you listen, people tell you the most amazing things. During my week of silence, I heard more than I had ever heard before. I realized that letting people feel heard is the greatest gift you can give them, more than a funny anecdote, a great story, or a witty comeback. It was so powerful that I take a vow of silence every year, and I'm hoping you will consider joining me. I challenge you to be silent for one day. If you can, 2 days. If you're really brave, be silent for 1 week. Here are the goals. 1, learn to be an incredible listener. 2, interact with people in an entirely new way. 3, learn more about yourself than you ever have before. Intrigued? Go to scienceofpeople.com/silence to find out how to do your vow of silence and take the vow with me. I hope you'll consider the silence. I'm being silent now. This is what it feels like.